All right. Hello there, Dom. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Eric. How are you today?
I am doing well. We are actually live at PETE&C. Can we get some clapping and some? All right.
Yeah.
Well, they're more excited to clap than they are for me to turn the camera on them. So I want to get them started first. We didn't want to lose them in the first 30 seconds of going live. All right. So we're here doing PETE&C. How's your PETE&C been so far?
It's been fantastic. We had to share words today during the keynote with Dr. Jill Seiler, and one of the words was overwhelming, collaborative. There were different words being bandied about in our group that we were sharing with each other. To share, we have a full room today. Thank you guys for attending. It's an honor and a privilege to have this many people in our presentation.
I love how they're so confused. Do I watch it live or do I watch it on
Yes.
the screen? Right now it's a tennis match going on in front of us. It is amazing. All right, so as we're going through, we've done this a few other times. Again, we had the fortune to be in Philadelphia. We did get accepted. We'll be in Denver at ISTE. We've been PETE&C last year, KTI over the summer. So those of you who are watching live, we're going to talk about how we run it. They're able to see the magic in the back end. And as we talk, we actually live produce together. So right now we're on the screen, we're talking. We always jokingly, literally in our notes it says jolly banter.
Yes.
And so we banter back, or sometimes we have the word witty. We're very smart today. It says witty banter.
Yes.
And I'll show you that in a second. So we're going to be going through and doing different things. So if you notice over here on the side, if anybody who's watching on any of those other social platforms has a comment, it'll show up here. So the one thing that I've learned is I just allow Dom to put it live, because if I'm talking, he puts live and I don't notice it, then later I'll put it live. That's fun. Like, oh, we got yay twice. Okay.
And if you look at the screen, you can see I miraculously ended up by the fireplace. No longer in the room. That's the virtual backgrounds you can drop in.
That's it. So and then on the side, so again, comments. The next thing you have is banners. So you're able to go through and you're able to preset banners. So like when we have, you want to change that top one. So we have like welcome to PAECT, and it's set to be a scroller on the bottom. I'll show you how to do that in a second. As we're producing this, we're talking about our socials. We'll say follow us on Twitter, and PAECT, and then PAECT Pod has their own. All right, and then over here we have like just check out any PD opportunities. Because again, we run this as part of PAECT. We not only just talk about the different things we're doing in our classrooms, we talk about the organization. We'll talk about any PD opportunities that are happening throughout the Commonwealth and out of state. So again, we have it said here. These are longer ones, and then of course, now it's real fancy. So let's go into it. That's emojis at the bottom. I was feeling pretty cool that day, right? So we got that all going for your different options. Again, kids could, they could write different things in your classroom. So again, let's weave it through your curriculum. You're working on something. Maybe it's you're going over parts of speech. They could have sentences that have these different words in it. Maybe there's some different problems. Maybe, you decided not to go to AI for the dad joke, because my principal loves that I'm using AI for dad jokes. I'm like, listen, man, it's got some good ones. But, kids can come up with some of their content can be at the bottom. And you show it, you hide it as you go through. And then we do have a few, like, when we do this one, on the bottom, and that's when you set it to just be static. All right, so that's kind of going through. We'll do that for our different segments. We'll put it at the bottom. I think, did you fix the one at the top?
I flipped through a couple different ones.
And the one that PETE&C screen, I'm going to change that to what we're doing now. No, we're just doing the live. All right, go ahead, sir.
I know you had like the emojis and stuff. You also customize like logos and things.
You cannot put logos in that slider, but we'll talk about that in 1 second. So what we're going to do now is, so we would do our banter, and then we would get ready to go just to show another one of our little videos. So then we usually say, you know what? It's a Tuesday. It's a different time, but I think it's time for it.
PAECT Pod.
All right, roll it. Your people that are watching, how do you arrange your views within the first 30 seconds? You want to really here's what we're going to be talking about. Sometimes our witty banter, it's more about the difference between Miami Dolphins and Pittsburgh football, Western PA, Eastern PA. It's a lot about the weather, because I said teachers are like weather geeks because we're staring at it, waiting for the snow, doing every snow dance we've ever heard of, right? We're all excited for that. But then we roll into it, we share that, and now we're officially live and we're into our deal.
Yes.
So again, these are the videos I have here. So this is what we were talking about earlier. Hello, sir. But this is where you would say, do you have your student videos?
So you can, in here where they have this little setup under video clips, you can go in and you can add different clips. Now, you'll have to view, I don't have the number off the top of my head, but when you click on it, like, sometimes the video can be too long, but again, if you want little segments, they're just gonna be in there. You know, you get a recorder,
Yeah.
you can something in front of the green screen, you have other software, pull it in, but you can have the person producing it live and then pull the videos in. If you produce something, you have software that you're producing separate, but you want a vehicle to get it out to the socials for your school, you can create all that stuff in-house. And at the beginning where it said pre-recorded video, you can literally, however long the video is, it will play for that length automatically. You hit it and it goes. So some options there, if that makes sense.
And if you have video that's over the limit for uploading and playing off of the side, at the bottom, the share screen, if you go in, you click on that, it's a present button. You can pull video files and things like that. You could pull from your computer and push those out. You just have to make sure you have a decent connection internet-wise for that. But you could play videos off your computer if they're too big a file.
Yeah, so if you look here, when I click on that, I can add slides. If I do that, I can do from Google Slides, and I can pull it up from my computer.
Then when I go back, I have that option to pull in an extra camera. So I'm going to pull in the extra camera. And now it shows you the view, the video preview of what everybody will see. And I'll make sure, we don't necessarily have Ken in the spotlight here because he showed up late, but you don't have to do that. And we can make sure we can prove his wife is here at school, all right? And then once you do, you just hit share. And now it goes down here where I can add to the stage or not. So again, this gives you the view. So, there we go, you're right. And so we do have an extra camera set up. Like sometimes we'll have it on our desk kind of down if we're showing something on one of our devices or a paper item. You just have to worry about the flicker rate sometimes with the refresh rate of the device you're using, because that can be a little obnoxious when the kids are like, what's that bar going down? Like, guys, not everything was all HD all the time, They're just so used to it. So again, so I can pull in the different items there, and then when you don't want it anymore, you pull it back. All right, if for some reason we're done with that shot, I can go in here and I can go ahead and stop the camera altogether. So now we have our different angles here. And so Brandon, so this is going to go to was asking about the logos or images. So I can add some imaging in here. So I know we talked about like you try to put images in the tracker, the slider that goes across the bottom. One place where I can put images is a little logo. So I click this. This goes in the top corner.
Now, is that only under the paid version?
So if you have the free version, you get a static mallard duck. Right? Which is a cute little logo. It's fine. It gives you everything you need. All right, so that shows up in the top corner. All right, and then you can have it or you can turn it off. Now with the free version, I don't think you can turn that off. It just rests there in the corner for a while. And you can make overlays. Again, this is 100% all created in Canva. So I have the overlay with the background by where it's showing. I can pull in with the white background depending on what I'm having up front. So those are there. Again, we say the video clips and the backgrounds. So obviously in this view, backgrounds aren't being shown. So I could shrink this up here. And then we could change what our backgrounds are. So of course, PAECT, we have some sponsors. We can make an animated background. So the keys go. Sometimes it can be distracting, so we'll keep it on for a little bit. All right, and it kind of flies in, flies out. Again, I just made a short, 11-second clip in Canva, downloaded it as an MP4, uploaded it. Now it's rocking and rolling. If I don't want any action, I just wanted to sit still. A nice light background. Set up anything in Canva, you're really going to make a slide. You're just doing a slide background. Add anything you want. Anything you add there, sir?
No, that was fine. And like, I was coughing. We don't have a cough button, but on the bottom of the screen, under your controls, you can mute, you can block your camera. I don't have a problem. Like, I'll sit there and I can talk so much, I'll drink water. Right now I'm drinking kind of hyped up coffee and hot chocolate with whipped cream. I'm a little spaz. But, they say professionally you shouldn't do that. It's up to you if you want to pull yourself off the screen or not.
Yeah, when I see our numbers go down, I just mute Tom and our numbers go back up. It's really how it works. He just didn't want to say it like that. Do you have a question, sir? It's all off of mine, off of a USB-C adapter. So I have one, let's see, I just have this displays running off of here, and I have the adapter, I have the HDMI running to there, so everything's all splicing off of here. So that's the other thing, because it's all online. And you don't have to have, like I joked that I was doing a talk at esports yesterday, like what you can do with Chromebooks.
You could run this on.
You could run this on a Chromebook.
Because it's all online.
Because it's all
Yeah.
online.
The
The bandwidth is the only thing you have.
And again,
And
I'm like
right
right
next to my cable modem.
It's supposed to be like 800 megs. Like I'm hardwired in. Every so often
you get the little fluctuation.
Sometimes I know the one time you had a storm coming through.
Yeah.
How to get a little message, or you get on like Wi-Fi unstable. You get little things like that, but it has nothing to do with the device. It's all online. And that's the other beautiful thing, because again, OBS is great, but you're driving it from your processor. So the more you have open, it kind
Yeah.
of bog things down.
The StreamYard you can run on any kind of computer. I've jumped on with an iPad because you're just logging into a website. It's harder to work with on an iPad, but you know it's internet based, so you can access it from anywhere. And then
Wait, time out. An Apple product isn't as good. All right, never mind.
oh, because I'm a little bit older and I have a hard time looking at the smaller screen. So I have the dual monitor is the best way to go because I've tried running it on a single monitor and it gets a little confusing and you're overlapping, especially with a smaller, screen. You're overlapping things and you're trying to run control. So getting a dual monitor set up is the best way to go because that way you could. Pardon?
So ready? So pulling up the Magic Dual Monitor. There is the notes that we have.
Yes.
I totally blew out, not even doing our intro. But any notes that we're actually using, we tried using Notion for the free version. It filled up, and I emailed every expert, whether they're YouTube, whether they're Twitter. They can't tell me what the blocks are. I have deleted almost everything out. It's like, your block capacity's out.
So we ended up,
Microsoft Loop just came out, so we were trying that. We bounced all around.
Yeah. Tried Google Docs.
It was just cludging up, and there was so much information. So, but this is, so our extra monitor is our script, and then if I'm sharing something for a demo, I want to make sure that the main page I'm looking at is relatively near the camera. So like I can whether I want to see Dom or not, he's right here. So it looks natural if I'm looking at Dom talking as opposed to looking at my other monitor over here and the video camera's here, right?
Yeah.
So on that other, I'll put whatever I'm demoing, because when we demo, we're small or our face is off, so that's not as important. And then we're walking through the steps. We're going through, like our last one, we did our top 5 FID Day apps, was our last episode. Cheap plug. All right, check it out. And so we were going through what will we use for FID Day that you're able to we jokingly call it stalk the kids while they're doing work or not doing work, so we message home. But then they're off doing their deal. So while I was demoing that, I had a separate browser on another screen. This was still up here, so the main controls weren't being touched. I'm going through, I'm scrolling through, I'm flipping between the tabs. As I'm sharing that, we had different little scroll things that pop on. Dom was controlling that, and then vice versa. So on Dom's other screen is the next part that we really want to get to, called the curation side. But before we jump into that, any questions on the creation aspect so far? Yes, sir.
You guys have to be at the same place.
No.
No, he's in Pittsburgh, and I'm in York, Pennsylvania. So and we have free up to 10 people.
Yes.
Ours is up to 10 people because we paid for that one tier. I think it's like 5 people. They could be anywhere in the world. Yep. Even watching an Irish game if they really choose.
My setup at home, because like here I'm off to the side, so whenever I look off to the side to do something, you see I'm looking sideways, profile view. But I have a bigger monitor, and then I have a raised desk. So the monitor's up on top, my laptop's down below, so it's I may look down, but I'm barely looking at the camera, which I often get like, please don't do that from the audience. My friends will chime in, my neighbors will chime in, like, can you turn your camera off?
And I like telling his neighbors to chime in. Yes.
If they're kids who are using StreamYard for like esports and streaming,
Sure.
gaming, does StreamYard mesh with Discord in any way?
It had Twitch. I don't know if it has Discord. That's a good question. All right. Yeah. But the feeds can come in. Yeah, you would just have to check. Like I said, the big ones. We can check afterwards. Remind me. Real quick before we jump into him talking about some of the podcasting and working in your classroom. When we were researching, again, we're on a limited budget. I'm not like trying to buy you see these, all these professionals out there and they have like a $800 microphone, $1,000 microphone. I'm a big fan of the New Heights podcast. I know the 49er fan may not be. All right, I'm just trying to be like Jason Kelsey in here and doing the whole deal. I just want the endorsements, you know what I'm saying? And so they have like this $1,000 mic, right? But we got this. It's called the Pod Mic by Rode, $99, and it's one of the highest rated for just podcasts. Again, headphone and microphone
will suffice. You're not looking, but we just wanted a little bit better of the sound, so we just upgraded to this. The camera we're using here is a Kaio. It's by Razer Pro. Great for StreamYard, not great for Zoom. So if you're trying to do other, like, right, but it does work really well.
A third-party app you can program, you can pull down. It works.
All right, so a $200 setup as far as just those extras that we got. All right, have it on like, you spend $20 to buy the arm to kind of raise up and down. So I have the microphone on the arm because, again, being Italian, I need to have it up out of the way so I'm not smacking it around. I have a separate stand I spend $10 on that's on the other side of my desk because, again, hitting, pounding, moving the desk and all sounds like I'm giving people an earthquake because the camera's moving. And it does decent with stability, but again, I'm putting it through the ringers. So that would be the $200 and the StreamYard free. That's where you're at cap if you want to have like this kind of setup. But again, any kind of Logitech headset with a microphone, the kids can get started. All right? Okay, so now the second part is we talk about curation. So I did delve into having my kids work on doing some scripts, writing some things about our math classroom. And then we reached out, so we'll talk a little bit about the studio, like Soundtrap.
Yeah.
Soundtrap education, and having the kids use the free version to record their audio, and then they can pull the clips in. So when we're done, we're going to get a video, and we're going to get an audio. We can download those separately. This is all being pushed out live, but you still can push it down like Dom said. We push this out to, now it's Spotify, it was Anchor when we started. So we will push the audio feed there, and we'll push the video feed there. But with your kids, they can create the video, the audio clips, you pull it in, have them play. All right, so they can be a part of that, and you can stream it live if you'd like to do that. So talk more about your class.
Okay, so with class, like I started out podcasting years ago with just basic audio recorders and things of that nature, and moved up through Apple products, GarageBand and stuff. And then I went into video with my classes. My students would do a news show, talk show type setup, and we fiddled with that. But the editing was limited, unless we'd pull down and put it in iMovie or something like that, or other video apps. And then we came across Soundtrap, and I'll have the kids edit there. But the nice thing about Soundtrap is, and I know a lot of schools already use it for music, kids can make their own music, can make their own sound effects. There's a lot of free music on there that's already open source, so you don't have to worry about copyright. And I'll pull down with Soundtrap and do the editing, and Soundtrap has the ability to take what we say and create the text. And I'm having a mind blank right now. Too much caffeine and sugar. But I can see the words. Thank you. Transcription of it. So whenever I go to edit and cut, because we'll take segments out and we'll do tech tools, or we'll have a special guest on. So we'll cut those segments out so people don't have to watch the entire hour show or hour and 15 minutes. They can just watch those segments. I'll use a transcription to cut and edit that out. It makes it so much easier than sitting here trying to listen and, okay, where was that again? And your reflexes are a little bit off. You hit pause and you have to go back, and like 15 times later, I'm like, this will be good enough. So it helps you with the editing part of it, which is fantastic.
All right, so Dom's screen, he shared the window, not the whole screen. So you have multiple things on the extra monitor. I'm sharing the window, the browser. So old school right here. Kicking it old school with a little wiki action.
Yes. It's a nice platform for me to post things out. In fact, I have one for my classroom. I have one for me. They're free. You get so many users, but it's an easy web page, and I don't have the kids edit it per se for my classroom. I'll let certain students do it because certain kids I don't, want going on at 11 o'clock at night editing something, and then I get a call from the principal next morning. I have to go to the office and explain why this happened. So I watch who edits for my classroom, but I use this as my webpage. It's free. So, and you have so much storage free that I'm never going to hit the max. So instead of paying for a website, I don't control the full URL. It's, this one's my personal one. It's dsalvucci@pbworks.com. My classroom is mrsal.pbworks.com. And I push stuff out for the kids, and it's a free webpage. And it works it's all web-based, so I can go on from any device and edit, adjust, push out information, and store it.
One critique I'll give when doing a presentation like this is kind of tough to read. So a lot of times, something like if I don't remember ahead of time, I'll have to go in and just make sure I go about 150, maybe 200% as far as the sizing. So
Yeah.
that way you're able to see it on that screen. You're going to be scrolling a little bit more, but make it better for the eyes, even though they're going to be on YouTube and they'll be able to go a little bigger.
And sometimes we'll pull, depending on what tool we're showing, we'll pull ourselves off the screen in its entirety. So you have the whole screen of just whatever you're showing and sharing out to the people. Because then you can talk about it, the cursor moves them around, and they have a bigger view of what you're talking about.
Did we show that comment? No, somebody just, so. And then over here it tells you, like, here's how long we've been live. There's 2 people currently through Facebook watching. We've got one person who gave us a thumbs up, Jen Brinson, a friend of ours, so she gave a thumbs up. She's watching it as it kicked out because they all got notified through the socials that it was happening.
So again, showing how pulling in the information. So again, with the kids, Soundtrap is great. They do have a free 3-month trial for education. So again, pull that in. Sorry.
And we have a code we can give you too.
I saw the nod back when I mentioned Soundtrap. Have you used it?
No, I just learned about it yesterday.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
One thing it has that Dom loves is bells, whistles, literally the noises you can make when you're doing different stuff.
And she actually had, for PETE&C users, you can get it in 90 days.
Yes, we have a code for you.
Yes.
For those that have like the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, they have Adobe podcasting now.
Mhm.
Beta, it does something similar where it can transcribe and cut. But we discovered that there's a problem where when 2 people are talking and the words cross, it can't determine what that is in text.
Okay.
So you can't ever cut it out. Is that the same for Soundtrap?
I've not messed with the transcription there yet.
I haven't had too many issues, although my Pittsburghese will kick in and I will have some words that are off, but at least it gets me close to where I need to adjust because I'm not really pushing out the transcription. I'm using that on the back end for me to edit. And like when I do my class podcast, I'm going to do a weekly podcast for my kids as to what we covered in class, what's coming up next week. For me, like with Soundtrap, I'll, instead of just making unlimited little cuts and things, what I'll do is, because I like the bells and whistles and the sound effects, I'll pause. And then as you see, your voice going up and down, you see that flat line. Okay, here's where I put in like the crow's calling because the joke's stupid. Or here's where like there's a drum roll, and I'll do that from that. And I won't use the transcription when I'm building my podcast. I'll use it when I'm editing this live stream and cutting it into sections.
You use the paid version?
I have. I used the code and then we kept using it, so we got the paid version. But it's pretty good. The free version limits your transcription, I think, to an hour if you have the free version. But it does work well.
You use StreamYard to push it out to Spotify and your YouTube channel.
So
Post and not live.
right. So what we do is it automatically where we send it live is Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter X. So that's live. I think Twitter keeps it. It doesn't go away. It stays on our YouTube channel. It stays on our Facebook feed. If we would do Insta, LinkedIn keeps it live. If it goes to Instagram, that immediately cuts it. So then when we're done, which we're going to end here shortly, when we end the stream, it'll give us an option. You can download the video, right? So we didn't have to go live. We just done the recording, download the video, and then you can splice and do what you want, and then you can actually go back in and re-push it out and choose. You also download a separate audio file. So then what we'll do is we get both of those files down. It's live in all those other 5 places, and then Dom will take that later, and he'll cut out any segments possibly that are needed, and then he will push the video as one, and the audio as another through Spotify, through our separate channel. So that one is not automated.
Yeah. And then like for remote recording, when we were at ISTE, we had PAECT had a playground, and I went around and I used Road Capture, and it's free app. It allows you to do camera, 2 facing cameras, interview people. I would do the interviews, recorded it, then went back to the hotel, uploaded into StreamYard and pushed it out that way, or played it off my computer because if the files were too long. So there are ways to work around and pull video and audio from other sources. Soundtrap with the app, you can work from any device because it's internet based, like they were talking yesterday. So there's a lot of ways to make content offsite from StreamYard and then push it out. StreamYard I don't know if it'll stream to Discord. They didn't answer. I looked up on Reddit, but you can stream by screen sharing, stream your Discord feed out to people through StreamYard.
So just a little taxing on the processor on that, but, so what we're doing now, you would be able to set that zone and send that to Discord if you wanted to. Yes, sir.
This isn't really a tech question, but like content-wise, what are some things that you have your students put on it? Like, what are your requirements for how long those sessions are?
We try and do like a public service for the school and the community. Things going on in the community, things going on in the school. Interview students that have awards. I've had kids do projects. We've done just like whatever. I'm a big fan of students producing or publishing their own work. So instead of having just a poster in the hallway, and I've had kids make posters and then they just audio record or screen record about the poster. They don't have to be on camera, and we push that out as a video because even if kids make like a Google slide presentation, our district locks it down. Nobody can see it except people in our district. So I haven't turned it into a screen capture or some sort of video that they make a poster. There's an art display. They'll walk around, film it, talk about it, interview the artist, and then we push that out so people can see what our school's doing. It's great public relations.
I think it kind of goes back to that show, like, so, in my math class, I had kids talk like, hey, any tips and tricks, or what did we learn this week? Like, it could be, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever you decided to do. Then you kind of look at, once I have like a calendar idea, what ideas do I want? I want them to pull in other classes, what's happening, ask them about different things, and pull in that content in. And how can you leave it? Maybe in history, you're going to say, take the position of a character and share something, or how would you? Here's the question we're going to ask all of our historical figures of what we're studying right now, right? Or how in culinary, you're making something, describe how you made this, what was the trickiest part. But again, just in that, like, where they have to go into a little bit more of that metacognitive piece, like, that's really the goal. Like, and the cool thing is we all know when it's like forward facing, like, they step it up. Like, if it's just a paper for me, they don't step it up necessarily, right? So yeah, and then the other thing with, if you're doing the video, versus the schools like that, you don't want this to be put out. You can still record the stuff here. The nice thing is you're easily able to pull in the transition, pull in little music, all that piece. And when it's recorded, you can put it on Drive and just share the thing on an internal Google site. So you can click it and they can watch the video in the house too. Yes.
How do you have the kids record? Like during class time? I only have 30 kids in a class. I can't.
We have a study room or our science lab across all that's not being used during science class. They can go there. Just find a quiet spot.
Yeah. I have a little spur, like I'm an offshoot on the hallway. Our floor is kind of like a tic-tac-toe board, and I'm on the one end. So all the kids film in the hall. I have kids come in during homeroom. I'll feed them, hot chocolate and donuts or hot chocolate and cookies, whatever, and they'll come in and work. Some kids will stay after school. I used to have, go from my honors class right into study hall, and my honors kids had that study hall, so we could actually make it a work session. So I keep hitting my microphone here. And make it a work session so we can carry over. But you don't always have that, so it's a lot of hit and miss. But with this, they could record on their device, store it, and they'll share it with me through Drive or AirDrop it if they have an Apple device, and then we pull it in so they don't have to be in my room to film. They could film wherever and record, they'll record the games and certain things out in the community outside of school hours.
And the other one would be some teachers have used Flip, so they could do all their recordings on Flip, share it to wherever, so they can do it from home, from a device, wherever they want to do that. Just talk about the clean background kind of a deal. And now they're all there, and you can pull those down separately and have them, just pull different ones based on the topic. Yes.
I noticed that from here to Facebook, there is a lag in there.
Yeah.
Does that give you enough time that say somebody dropped something and said something that should be put out?
So what's shown here, you 100%. They can put in anything they want unless I tell them to, like when we go into comments here, if I don't click on it to show, it just sits here and I know it's being said or it's being done. That's how we do. We were getting some spam with some things and we realized it was showing up at that time. We couldn't hop off and get it out of YouTube. And then we set that up. If you see everything,
You control what comes across, what goes out to the public.
All right, in the back.
I have it on my webpage. I'll link it to our presentation later today or tomorrow. I'll push out links to this YouTube channel for my students.
All right, we're going to close out real quick. We'll get the questions in 1 second. So, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the PACT pod. And as always, remember,
PAECT,
we are,
the voice of EdTech in Pennsylvania,
and
beyond.
thank you very much.
PAECT would like to thank all of our sponsors. Venture sponsor, EduSpire, corporate council members, ClassLink, GoGuardian, ClearTouch, and our gold sponsors, Sam Labs, Howard Technology Solutions, and Teachers First.